Don't waste food. Make the best use of everything. Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. Today we're going to talk about dehydrating. You can see the jars here behind me. There's a lot of stuff I dehydrate. Our dehydrator's been running pretty much around the clock for the last 4-5 months-ish. And yeah, we got a lot of stuff stockpiled from it. Like this, carrots, onions, pumpkin. That's what we're going to do today. We got bananas. I mean, there's so many different things. We have butternut squash. We have all kinds of herbs. All kinds of making nutrient powder out of all the good edible leaves and stuff like that. But today we're going to do this Farmer Mark's pumpkin. So I'm going to show you how to do it. First off, you guys know you got to cut the top off, cut the bottom off, peel it, cut it open, get the seeds out. So let's get to that. Alright, so here we are. I got the top, started chopping off, chop the top off. Good knife, keeping them sharp. I really like these. This is a J. Hinkle's Professional knife. I forget this the model, but I really like these knives. I use this knife for everything. But all I do is I just cut the ends off, and don't forget the ends are great for your compost. So what I do is I just chop them up a little bit. I will get a paper plate and set the stuff in there for dehydrating, or not dehydrating, composting. Sorry about that, just chop these up really quick, throw them in here, just so it composts down a little bit faster. Pretty simple. Get those all off to the side. Then what I'm going to do is just peel the outside. Try to put it here so you guys can see it in the camera. Just work your way down it like that. Go around peeling it. I'll go around and peel it. I'll cut it open. I'll start taking the seeds out. Before I get further into the video, and before I forget, please hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell for all. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys are doing about preserving your food. And have good comments in the comment section, back and forth with everybody. It's really good. It's a really good place to build, grow the community, and to interact with each other. Actually, I guess I'll show part of this. We'll get this skinned. I just want to show you kind of how easy it is. All you do is you go around that like the outside. This is why a sharp, good knife matters. So just go along the outside. If you miss a spot, just go back and touch it up. And why did I label it as, why did I put the name of the pumpkin on it? Because I'm going to save the seeds. We got this pumpkin at a local pumpkin patch, taking the kids there for the Halloween thing, going to get pumpkins, going on a wagon ride, stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun, and we got several different varieties of pumpkin that I didn't have yet, so so I can get the seeds specifically. That's why I did this. So what I'll do is I'll just cut it in half, and then I'll get another paper plate. Get another paper plate out, sit it here, and then pick out the seeds. Pretty simple. Make sure if you have any seeds that are cut from the knife, you know, obviously don't save those. Those aren't going to be good. But just go through, get all the seeds out. Let me do a time lapse so you don't sit here and watch me during the whole thing. Alright, got all the seeds out. Just leave them here in this on this paper plate to dry for, I don't know, maybe a week or so. I'll label it Farmer Mark's pumpkin, and then once they're dry, I'll throw it in a Ziploc bag, throw it out in the fridge for my seed storage. But next on, you got these, you got this stuff. All you gotta do is take a spoon, is easiest, and just scrape all the stuff out. Pretty simple. This process is fairly easy, especially on a pumpkin this size. Larger pumpkins, obviously a lot more work. Put this in the compost. So one thing that's nice about this is you get 3 uses out of this stuff. You get the stuff for the compost, you get the seeds for next year's garden, and you get the food that you dehydrate. So that's really good. Make use of everything you can. In an SHTF scenario, grid down, total collapse, we're not going to be able to go to the grocery store all the time and just buy stuff. So we're going to need to make sure we take care of and we utilize everything we possibly can. Just like Native Americans did, you know, whenever they killed a buffalo or a deer or something like that, you used every single part of the animal they possibly could. We're going to have to go back to that because stuff just won't be available, especially if it's a long-term event. We need to be able to know how to and practice and get the skills that are necessary for utilizing every part of everything that we need. So I'm going to show you this next part here. Just dice it up. All I do is I cut it into rounds. You see about yay thick. And then what I'll do is I'll start off with this one. I'll show you this one. All I do is I dice it, or I put it into little strips. About 1/8 of an inch, maybe-ish. It's not rocket science. There you go. You can probably see how how thick they are. And then just cross-cut them. I like dicing them up smaller. Some people may like them bigger. I like it smaller because it's much quicker in my dehydrator. Stuff like this, these hard vegetables, are much more difficult to dehydrate and take longer because they're denser, they're thicker, all that kind of stuff. So I just do that, and then I will put it on a baking sheet and throw it in the dehydrator. We'll show you some other steps just a sec. Okay, got it all diced up now. All I have to do is put it onto a baking sheet, and one that I found really good is this one right here by Pioneer Woman. Got it at Walmart. I don't remember how much it was, but it's really nice because they don't stick to it. Whenever you're done, you just shake it and it just comes right off. Really nice. So what do? I just put it underneath the edge here and put it all in here like that. Spread it out. There you go. Ready to go in the dehydrator. Alright, so here we are at the dehydrator. Nice dehydrator. It's Cabela's dehydrator. So I usually just keep it on 12 hours. I just hit this to reset it. Temperature 135 degrees. And slide it in. And then this one is ready to come out. You can see this is carrots. Dehydrated very nicely. And this is what I'm talking about, having good quality baking dish so they don't stick. Very good. Now I'll take these, throw them in a mason jar, and throw an oxygen absorber in there. When it's full, cinch the lid, oxygen absorber absorbs the oxygen, pops the lid down, basically dry cans it. Now how long is it good for? I'm not really sure yet. This is the first year we've done it. But I know they're good for a couple years at least. And I'll keep an eye. You pick up the jar before you use it, look at it, see, hey, does it look bad? Does it smell bad? All those kind of things. Common sense. One thing I'd like to talk about before I go on and show you some other stuff about dehydrating is I really would like to shift the channel's direction into more stuff like this. Hands-on, real-world knowledge. Outdoor stuff, indoor stuff, gardening, wilderness survival, bugging out in adverse conditions, a lot of different things. So let's check it out. Alright, so while we're here, I figured I'd show you some other things I've been dehydrating also. Zucchini, just same kind of thing. Diced up and throw in the dehydrator. Even green beans from the garden. And I just break them. I just break them into small little pieces and throw them in the dehydrator. Works really well. Corn. Yep. This was just a bag of frozen corn. I just cut it up, bag open, poured it in the baking dish, baking sheet, threw it in the dehydrator. Bam, corn. Alright. Butternut squash. Got a lot of that stuff laying around, right? Save the seeds, dehydrate the meat. This is a good one. Pepper blend from our garden. This is cayenne peppers, pepperoncinis, and jalapenos. So, good pepper blend to throw in for seasoning. This is another one. This is mixed veggies. This was just from I do mixed veggies, like frozen mixed veggies, and I throw them in the tray and I throw them in there also, but this is a garden one, except for the corn. The corn in here is frozen. We have green beans from the garden, we have cabbage from the garden, carrots from the garden, etc. stuff. Looks like, I forget what all is in there. It's just mixed veggies. Throw it in a stew. That's predominantly what I plan on doing with all this dehydrated stuff, is just throwing in soups and stews for long-term use. With the exception of things like this. This was a bag of frozen blueberries that we got. And, you know, freezer space is limited. And it's not that optimal for long-term storage. So I just did that. I dehydrated them all, threw them in there. And cabbage. Cabbage from, this wasn't from the garden. This is from the store. But cabbage, same thing. Cabbage dehydrates fairly quickly. And this, last but not least. Actually, while you're sitting here, see this? This is a baking dish that isn't very good. And see how it all stuck to it? This is butternut squash or pumpkin or something like that stuck to it. So I try not to use these ones. I try to use my better, nicer, newer ones. But you get it like this, just throw some warm water in it, let it soak for a little bit, and it just comes right off. But I wanted to show you that. That's what happens when you don't use a really good dish. Alright, this is my nutrient powder. This is awesome. So what is this? This is kale, carrot greens, beet greens, and stalks, kohlrabi greens, collard greens, Swiss chard, and arugula. And what I do is I dehydrate it. I just throw the leaves in there on baking trays or just on the mesh trays of the dehydrator. Get them nice and dehydrated. Then I just crumple them up into, that like a shake type stuff. And then I throw them in a coffee grinder and make powder out of it. And then I mix it all together really well, put it in one of these jars. Bam, nutrient powder. You can use this for green smoothies. You can use it for soup stocks and bases. Lots of good nutrients in this powder that will really help you maintain and or achieve optimal nutrition in SHTF. Nutrition is very important. So take it seriously. This is one of my favorite things to do. See all that stuff on the thing. And now what I do is I don't actually write everything down. I just call it nutrient powder and throw it in a mason jar. I hope you guys are doing this kind of stuff. I hope that you're dehydrating. I hope you're growing as much as you possibly can. But even if you're not growing this stuff, you can go buy frozen fruits, frozen vegetables, fresh fruits or vegetables, and dehydrate them. Throw them in mason jars like this. Yes, you got to buy the mason jars, but I'll tell you what, it's a great way to add to your food storage. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I love you guys, and blessings to you and yours.